Hey, Mickey. Wait for a couple other people to get here and we'll go from there. Hear me? Hey, Frank. Can y'all hear me out there? Make sure I got my sound going here. Okay, sweet. Was that an interesting conversation tonight or what? Hey, how you doing, FLP? Oh, I get it. I hope you have fun on your hunting trip, though, buddy. Hey, you need to eat. I got me a drink while. There we go. Hey, Nina. Hey, Donna. Hey, Brett. Oh, it was less than 20 minutes. I just wanted to make sure Zeus had a chance to get outside here before I got started. Because Mr. Great Timing, and I love him dearly, but he does not have the best timing in the world. Right, Bob? Bob? I'm Dolly. Yeah, but I think one thing I'm going to do here. What's up? What's up, Ox? Well, you should still be able to go back and do that, Ox. If you go to the replay, you can still give a thumbs up at the replay. What's up, Mike? Yeah, that's as I said before. That was an interesting chat and a very, very powerful chat, if anything. What's up, man? And I'm kind of like Nina in a lot of regards that I don't know as much as a lot of other people may know. But what I do know is barely scratching the surface of what was talked about tonight. So that was very eye opening, very interesting for me. That I don't know, Donna. But yeah, with the one thing, especially when it comes to the media, either all some of the alternative sites are okay, but when it comes to like the mainstream media for both the left and the right, I don't trust either one of them myself. This is just me. I don't trust either one because it seems like they're either being the cheerleader for one side or they're being the cheerleader for the other side, and in between the two is where the truth actually lies. Anytime, Ox. But yeah, that was. I'm still trying to process everything here. So, but anything anybody wants to talk about tonight? Just random stuff. This is kind of like the when I do these after shows for Prepper X. This is more like a decompression type of thing. I agree with you, Ox. I totally agree with that. It seems like the mainstream, not so much the alternative unless it's like extreme right or extreme left. But it seems like the media, regardless of what side it is doing nothing but stirring the pot. They're sitting there stirring the pot, and the more they stir the pot, the more stories they can get out. The more stories they can get out, the more money ends up in their pockets. Simple as that. Oh, and see, Ox is kind of like just reading me like a book right now because I'm the same way when it comes to decompression. This is one way I do it. Another way I do it is I'll usually ride around in the Jeep playing thrash metal at high volumes, and that usually helps, believe it or not. Yes, and when it comes to TV, I haven't even turned. I've been home since about 4 o'clock. I haven't turned my TV on yet. Hey, what's up, Kentucky? And Tibor and Donna and did I miss anybody? Oh, that's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. Well, Kentucky, we're talking about the Prepper X chat and anything else that may happen to come up. When I do turn on TV, I only usually have it on one channel. I watch the Velocity channel, which has they don't touch politics at all. Which is one reason I think why I watch it. They just focus on cars and trucks. That's it. Like regular programming, I can't. It doesn't do it for me anymore. Nothing on TV does it for me anymore. See, I'm just like Brett and Nina here. It's just I get frustrated with it, and just like Nina just said, I don't want to waste that much time. I'm especially with my photography, my day job, and my YouTube channel here. I don't really have time to look at the idiot box. Which talking about boxes, and I've said this before. I don't let electronics kind of govern my life. Like the computer here, for a long time. That's why I'm going back. I'm doing the outdoors channel. I'm trying to get outdoors as much as I can when I can. But for a long time, this box I'm talking to you on controlled my life. It didn't revolve around TV schedule. It revolved around what was going on online. Don't do that. And the reason I say that is that we all have a life. We're all understanding of this. And if you let the TV or the computer or an online video game control your life, you're missing out on a lot. Because it's like here, this is real life, but it's not real life. It's real life to the point that we can talk to each other. And I have met some of you. I've met Brett. I've met FLP, Backwoods Law, Purple Tea Bear, Virginia Prepper. I've met them face to face. Timo's another one. I met face to face. and we developed a little bit of a deeper relationship. Now, I'd like to develop a little bit of a deeper relationship with a lot of you as well. Let me stop right there. Something that Brett just said. I get bored of video games pretty quick. It all depends because I still have a game playing system. If I have a really bad day at my day job, I'll admit I'll come home, I'll throw GTA 5 in there and just run around amok. Yes, you are, Nina. In fact, you may be a little bit closer than what you think. But getting back to what Brett said, I'll throw GTA 5 and just run around amok. I don't do missions. I don't try to win anything. I don't try to complete anything. I just run around like a lunatic. It seems to take the edge off. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Brett? It's just one of those games where you have an objective, but you don't have to do the objective if you don't want to. You just go run amok, and nobody gets hurt. You can just get your frustrations out. Nobody gets hurt, and you can walk away going, that's better. But yeah, my whole thing is with the computer and the TV or online games, radio, cell phone, what have you, is once you let that start controlling your life, that becomes your life in a way, in a sense. Oh, Fallout was a fun game too. Fallout's another one you can just kind of run amok in and do whatever. But my thing is I kind of looked beyond the box and just kind of started looking around like, what am I missing here? There's something missing. And when I stepped away from the box and kind of just stopped and looked around me, I'm like, there's a whole big world out here. And here I'm in a 10 by 10 room looking at a screen. And yeah, I may be saying that to you on a computer right now, saying that don't let this thing control you. Well, I'm not. I set aside this time to come here and hang out with my friends. That's what I use this for now. Hang out with my friends, maybe get a little bit of information, but the rest of the time, I'll just have it on in the background. I'll have a book in my hand, or I'll be thinking about something to go do outside, or what have you. So just something I wanted to pass along because I every once in a while, I'm not saying we need to be reminded, but every once in a while, that reminder needs to be put out there that don't let the computer control your life. You control the computer. Let's put it that way. Get back in the box. That is an order. Get back in the box. And so, we're talking about the media, talking about the TV and the media, talking about boxes. The media wants your nose buried so far in that box over there, which I call the TV or the boob tube or whatever you call it, that's why they do what they do is because they're trying to influence you and control you in the way that you think, regardless of what side it is, if you get it out of the television. Which the only thing you're going to see on television is the mainstream. You may catch a little bit of alternate here or there if you're subscribed to them. But for the biggest part of it, you're catching mainstream. Like, I'll tell you, like, one. Oh, you and me both, Brett. You and me both. Okay, yeah, try Oxshaw. Try hitting your refresh. See what happens. I'll forget about the news. But yeah, I think today was the first day we were. I don't think we got over 60 today. I was in my glory. 60 degrees. I'm nice and cool, delivering in a t-shirt. I felt great. Night, Nina. Welcome back, Ox. Hey, Will. Give me 1 second. In fact, I'm not going to pull full west because you should be able to see me in the camera the whole time, but I need to hold something up to the screen for Brett here. Okay, Brett, this one's for you. I'll hold it back here. Here's that Oliver I'm working on. See how wide those rear tires are? That El Toro I was talking about. But I should be sending you pictures on this thing soon once I get the other tires off the front, off the donor vehicle, and go from there. Yeah, that's to let everybody know. That's like one of my hobbies. Is I collect miniature tractors. Well, I collect 164 scale vehicles, but mostly the miniature tractors. And some of them, oh, I will do, Brett. I'm going to be trying to get those the wheels off the donor tomorrow and get them on. I still have to figure out how I'm going to mix the paint up for the wheels, but we'll go from there. But I do like the 164 scale tractors, and for the tractors, hey, what's up, backwoods? Backwoods with the pass through. But with a lot of these tractors is with the real life tractors, there's so many different variations in one model, but the manufacturers that make this variation. So if you want a variation of something, you have to make it yourself, which is what I'm doing with that. Manufact the manufacturers, I think that was a scale model. No, no, I take that back. That one was an Earl. They made the two wheel drive and the front wheel assist. That's the four wheel drive tractors you see with the big and little tires on them. They made those, but they didn't make any other variations of it. And another variation is what they call the El Toro, which is a high flotation tractor, which had the really big wide tires on the back and the wide tires on the front. And these are made for extremely soft ground, really muddy ground. So they got that big wide footprint so they can still get work done. But no manufacturer's ever made that, so I'm making my own. And I got the front wheel assist. I still have to look around and see if I can find a two wheel drive. And I still don't have the two wheel drive yet, but I know I can buy that one, so I'll buy that one instead of making that. But one day here soon, for especially for Brett, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my display that I had at Big Knob, and I may just do like a walk around and like to explain what the concept was of it and everything else. Oh, that sounds cool, Brett. That sounds really cool. I have a couple. I have a couple. Let me see. I have about 5 or 6 Massey Fergusons done. Well, not done. I got 5 that I bought. I have one set aside that I'm going to make a well, not a different version, actually a different model. Um, I think it's a Massey Ferguson 4880 is what you can buy, but they had a Massey Ferguson 5800, I think. 5200. That was bigger. Oh yeah, I hear that. I mean, the 2-wheel drives can get limited. Oh, finish off what I'm saying. I also have another one. It's for Matchbox. It's a I need to redo. It's a Massey Ferguson, I think 135. See, like the 2-wheel drives will limit them. There are things you can do with the 2-wheel drive though to get a little bit more out of them. What was it able to be set up with duals in the back? 280. Okay, 283. I'm trying to. That's like a smaller, like utility tractor, wasn't it? Ah, okay. 50 horsepower. Still, it's a smaller tractor, still decent size. Good night, Ox. Have a great night, buddy. And good luck on your ham test tomorrow. Or sitting in on it anyway. But yeah, this is what I mean by decompressing. Like we can talk about other things. So oh yeah. And see, that's one thing I found is the newer the tractors got, the more refined they got, they kind of lost a lot of the ruggedness in a sense. Like I've seen people with old H's and old M's, a little bit of ingenuity, they would take those things, switch them from 6 volt over to 12 volt. That would be the older ones. Switch from 6 volt over to 12 volt. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. But finish off what I was saying about the H's and M's. They'll switch them from 6 volt to 12 volt, and they just use stuff they bought out of the auto parts store. And now with the Kubota, I think the reason why why they made them more complex as the years went on to where they are now was you can't really even monkey around with the computers. Job assurance. They want that captive audience to make money off of them. And like with John Deere, like the new John Deeres, I honestly think that John Deere actually programmed those computers to have a glitch that the farm would have to go to them. Um, that stuff, just like FLP was saying, that stuff will get hacked here. Exactly. That's exactly what they are. A friend of ours had a brand new John Deere. It went down. Had that tier 4 emissions, a whole computer stuff deal on it. They're going to have somebody come out and work on it. And John Deere says, "No, you can't." They said, "Oh, we can't." He says, "No, you can't." So they told us, "Come get your tractor." They pulled out the old International 4088 and went back to farming with that again. No, I didn't, Don. If you have a link after this is over, throw the link in the description. I'll check that out. I'll definitely check that out. And who is that? I think Maine. Oh, see, those yeah, Maine. Those old 3020s. People that body style. People love that body style. Those old John Deere 20 series tractors were awesome tractors. The 3020s. Let me see. They had, I think, was it the 1020, the 2020, 3020, 4020, 5020, I think 6020. And I think I had a 4-wheel drive, I think that's in that 20 series too. Maybe they did until the next thing wears out. Oh, see, warranty is a good thing. Okay. Okay, maybe that's the 10 series I was thinking about because they have like a whole slew of 10 series too. But another model I want to do talking about that is I think it was the 5020 that Kinzenbaugh was doing the repowers on. Earl actually made a model that said Kinsey on it for Kinzenbaugh that was supposedly the repower. What they did is Earl took one of their John Deere's and just painted it blue and passed it off. I was actually going to do the actual repower. I have a lot of those repowers are done with Detroit Diesel 8V71s. I have one of those 164 scale that I was going to slap into John Deere. Oh, see, I love you'd fit Brett. You would fit in our tractor club. You would definitely fit in our tractor club because I think only 2 people own John Deere's and we rib the hell out of them. Oh, farm are just easy to work. And don't get me wrong, I do like John Deere. I'm actually more of an Oliver person myself, but Farmall is my backup because Farmalls, like the Farmall M's, the Farmall H's. Well, actually, most of those Farmalls from the letter series or the first number series, you can still get those things for almost a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. They're still being worked. When we have guys that have like first year Farmall M's in our club, and they're still working now. Oh, if I had the time, I'd be coming down to visit you, Brett. Now, talking about tractors, though, I still want to go out west here. Not Evansville. I can't remember where it is, but they have like a big tractor show there. Oh, Paquette's. I've heard about that place. But there's a tractor show they have like out in the middle of the United States or someplace, and everything shows up. They got 4-wheel drive articulating tractors on down to basic bare bones pre-Farmall steam traction engines. You name it, they got it. Well, see, those old Fords, those things, they weren't the most powerful thing, but those things were just indestructible. Oh, see, I love my old equipment. I love my old equipment. Like I have my tractor collection right now. I think the last time I counted, and I have to do a recount here, but I think the last time I counted, I had about 350 to 400 pieces. Just the tractors, not everything else, just the tractors. And here's the funny thing: of everybody know that's in that hobby with me, I have the smallest collection. My one buddy, I think he never he deals, but his own personal collection, I don't think dips under 3,000. Now he'll deal a little bit out of his own collection, but it doesn't dip below a certain number. Now some of the tractors I think are cool are some of those oddballs. Like look up look up the Happy Farmer tractor, which was I think was purchased by Alice Chalmers and became the first Alice Chalmers. It was a 3-wheel deal, and the front wheel was offset. It was a funky looking deal. I'm Looked like it'd be a fun tractor to own, but man, that thing was funky. Oh, see, those Detroit two strokes were just brutal. Those things were brutal. Like my cousin used to have a not a tractor, it was a truck. He had an old Oshkosh 6-wheel drive with a Detroit diesel 12V71 in it with a blower and twin turbochargers on it. That thing was just it was just obscene how powerful that thing was. And yes, I approved of it. Its obscenity. I drive that thing in any day of the week, twice on Sundays. Ooh, yeah, that's never good. Like we have, there's an old John Deere, older John Deere bulldozer and a Case backhoe front loader deal, both down the road for sale. $5,000 to take them both, and I think each one of them needs about $3,000 worth of hydraulic work done on them. I'm just like, no, 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 no. Do you know where the leak's coming from? Is it coming from a hose or is it actually coming out of the pump someplace? Ooh, if I was actually closer to you, man, I'd actually consider coming up and looking at that because I actually been looking for everybody around here gets the farm all tractor of different variations. I was actually I almost got a Titan road grader that was based off of a Farmall MTA. Kind of missed out on that one. Oh, okay. Oh, see, yeah, those graders, and it depends. I want it for two reasons. First, I would like to restore it into a grader. If I could not restore it into a grader, I at least want the rear end of it because those road graders had an incredibly low rear end. And I know plenty of people who have the front end for a farmall to slap on that, just regular farmall. That'd make one hell of a pulling tractor. What's up, Grumpy? Well, see, we could use that here too. Now, I can tell you what we could really need here, but we have gravel driveways, so a snowplow wouldn't work too good. Like, I have a buddy of mine, he has a Farmall MTA called Long Shot that he pulls with. Now, it doesn't have a grader rear end, but it has a Farmall 660 rear end in it, I believe. Ultra low gearing. It's called Long Shot because if you got if you guys ever seen a deadweight pool, one of the most famous deadweight pools there are in the United States is up is one of the most famous deadweight pools is up at Portersville, Pennsylvania. They call it the King of the Mountain, and they have a class there they call the Unlimited class. Now, with that class, when they first started it, I guess you could say down east, but yeah, it's in Portersville is in Butler County. But in the unlimited class, you could you could throw as much weight as you want on a tractor. You're unlimited in how much that tractor is allowed to weigh. And with pulling, it's not like racing. Is you cannot go over a certain weight. You can be under a certain weight, but once they put it unlimited, now you can throw as much. They had tractors coming on the track this year, antique tractors too. There's 1957 cutoff on this. They had antique tractors going on the track that weighed close to 40,000 pounds because that's how much weight they had dumped on the thing. What's up, High Desert? But it's crazy. And Long Shot is one of those tractors that they actually outlawed. It went into King of the Mountain like 3 years in a row and just couldn't be touched. He was pulling. Well, most of the guys were like dropping the second or first gear to try to get a pull done. He was still running road gear, and he still had it had a split rear end in it. He was running road gear, and he still had about 7 gears to go down through, so he could like be pulling indefinitely. I mean, the tractor has never. I've never seen that tractor get beat at all, ever, which is crazy. And that tractor has well over 200 or 300 different pulls on it. But he doesn't really take it out too much anymore. He takes his other MTA out and his H out. But it's crazy. Absolutely. That tractor's just crazy. So many little tricks and the best thing about it is the guy who built the tractor kind of keeps his mouth shut about it, which is kind of cool too because I like trying to figure stuff out. Like I figured out the rear end on, and it's like, okay, you got me there. Like, okay. Oh, B model, man. I love B models. B model. There's a guy up the road from me. Well, actually, up on the way to work. He has a B model Max sitting in his front yard that I just won't do anything with. I'm just like, I just want that truck so bad. Even if I can't put the original motor, I have to put like an updated Mac V8 in. So be it. That'd be just a cool thing to drive down the road. By the way, what's the name of that B model Mac? Okay, okay. Yeah, because we have two B model Macs running around here. One's a show truck, one's a pulling truck, and the guy that runs the pulling truck yanked the Mac engine, dumped in a Caterpillar that has the dumped in a Caterpillar twin truck. It's like a super stock setup in that thing. It's just sick. I know there's two of them sitting around here, and the guy just they won't come down off the price. There's one. There's a deuce and a half that's been sitting in the same spot for 40 years, and the guy still wants $25,000 for a thing. I'm just like, have you lost your mind? If you look in the right place, you can still pick up a deuce and a half. I know a couple people still that are still picking them up for about between $8,000 to $10,000 a pop. Running models, running, ready to go, no rust. And this thing's been sitting there for 40 years. That hasn't even been turned over once. I bet you the engine's probably seized in it by now. And a couple, two, three, along with a bunch of other problems because this had the wooden roof on. The wooden roof's completely rotted out of it. The guy's like, I want $25,000 for it. So I'll give you $2,500 and get it off your property so I don't have to look at it anymore. Guy goes, get out of here before I call the police. I'm like, bye. There's about 3 or 4 of them running around here. I know the one pool, one guy. I think Butler County Fair up around here has a rummage and brung pool, and the guy always shows up with a deuce and a half. It's kind of cool. Now, one thing I've always wanted to do with the deuce and a half, being as I like that Oshkosh so much, is I like to get a deuce and a half with no motor in it, drop it in 8V92. I know here I am in my Detroits again, but I want to drop in an 8V92 built into that with an Allison automatic transmission. If I can't buy an Oshkosh, I'll make one. Like that Oshkosh I was telling you about that with that 12V71 in it. I see my cousin hook on to 60,000 pounds of sucker rod and drag it straight up a hill, and that truck never slowed down, never even offered to bog. What's kind of funny, you're talking about that, Brett? I could do that with my garden tractor. I have a 1968 Boland's 1050 garden tractor. Has a split, has the yeah, it is. But we have a thing that we do at our tractor shows. It's called the slow race, and the object is to get to the finish line last. I bet you did, man. That's something I'd like to see. That's something I would love to see. But the idea is with the slow race. The idea is to get to the finish line last. But you're not allowed to stop. You're not allowed to stall. You have to be moving the whole time. Yeah, like hydrostatic garden tractors, you can really crank them down and really get them crawling. I was beating them with a split 3 speed. I put the thing in first low, and I could reach over, and I knew where the governor was. I could close the governor on that thing. You just barely keep it running. I think the last one I won, I think they actually clocked me at 1/2 of 1/10 of a mile an hour. Because our the course is only about 50 feet long. It took me 10 minutes to go 50 feet. Oh, Jeep ponchos. I love Jeep ponchos. The Jeep poncho and the J series pickup trucks, which I think was where the honcho came from. Because I knew somebody had a J10. They went from the J10 to the honcho. Then I know another guy has a J20, the 3/4 ton, which I'm thinking is kind of rare. I've always seen the J10s and the honchos run around all over the place. I've only ever seen two J20s in my life. And another thing, I went to the Jeep Fest this year. Here's something with oh, I know. Here's something I bet you guys didn't know. Did you know Hurst Shifters was involved with Jeep for a while? And they may have been crap, but let's see, yeah, Grumpy Old Man did. They had that the Hurst Jeep Commando, which was basically just a kind of a repaint with a Hurst floor shifter in it. Still, I think they only made something like 50 to 100 of those, if not somewhere in there. So it's a rare bird, very rare bird. Just about the only Hearst car that's, yeah, the old slapstick. Well, see, I knew somebody else that had a Commando. They said that thing was just as is fun. It was more fun than a normal Jeep because you could pile more people in it. Well, the person I know that had a Commando, that thing ended up being like the party wagon. Go driving way off in the middle of the woods someplace, partying. The M715 Kaiser. Oh, I can imagine. Oh no, thanks. Believe it or not, I've never learned how to ride a motorcycle. You did. Let me rephrase that for you, Brett. You did several 360s that you did not induce, correct? Oh, that'd be even harder because I don't have the greatest balance anyway. How many people actually lay a bike down doing a slow race on a Harley? Well, that's one thing. If we get a good coating of snow someplace, I'm going to take my Renegade out and just not get too violent on it, but I'm going to try to get that thing to do a little 4-wheel drive donuts with it, see what happens. That's it. I'm not going to get too crazy with it. Oh, that's the worst. Oh, coming off the exit off the highway. Oh, I feel for you there. My work trucks scare me. It's one thing to do that in a 4-wheel drive or a car or whatever, goes hit the exit and start spinning around. It's another thing when you're jumping off in a 13,000-pound box truck that's about 30 feet long and it starts going sideways on you. You haven't even had a chance to slow down. You're going 60 miles an hour. And you're just going sideways on you, going up the exit ramp. What's up, Jess? Oh yeah, and it's funny you say that because driving in snow around Pittsburgh totally sucks. I used to drive. I'm driving in Pittsburgh now, but I used to do a route where I delivered in Cleveland. You're gonna laugh at this. I love driving in the snow in Cleveland because they actually know how to drive in the snow. Here around Pittsburgh, when it snows, the harder it snows, the faster they try to drive. Literally, it's proportionate. Snow's coming down really hard, they're going to drive really fast. Snow's just slightly coming down, they're going to be okay. But it's just absolutely crazy. People around here are nuts in the snow. People in Cleveland know how to drive in the snow. When it snows, you slow down. Oh, so they drive like they do in Pittsburgh. That's the same thing up here. You slow down, you're getting run over. That's all there is to it. Well, even in the dry around Pittsburgh, it's like that. I mean, it's. I'm driving home from work today. The point, case in point, I'm driving home from work. This isn't even in Pittsburgh. I'm 30 miles north of Pittsburgh, trying to come home from work. I have my cruise. It's a 70-mile-an-hour speed limit. I have my cruise set on 80, and I'm getting past like I'm standing still, and getting hollered at because 10 miles an hour over isn't fast enough for everybody else. Where's the logic there? You're going 80 miles an hour. You're going too slow. I'm like, I'm 10 over. 10 over here. Okay? 10 over. Oh, that's never fun. That's never fun. Oh, I mean, now I've seen, like, around here in Pennsylvania, I'm sure everybody here has, but here in Pennsylvania, I've seen some nasty things happen to truck drivers, too, man. Some of them were their fault, some of them weren't their fault, but still, wow. Yeah, when you're empty, it doesn't move quite as fast. When it's full and it starts doing that, it seems like once it starts, it just starts gaining momentum as it goes. Well, yeah, and down in Dallas, I've heard about that. Down in Dallas, it seems like they just kind of post a speed limit as a suggestion, but nobody ever follows it anyway. I think that's where it is about everywhere. Well, my last girlfriend's from Alabama. Every time I told her up here it was snow, she's you're not going anywhere. I'm just like, you don't understand, Beth. You just don't understand. Life doesn't stop up here when it snows. It keeps going. I got to, or I don't have a job anymore. Oh, I deal with that on a daily basis, Mickey. I deal with that on a daily basis. I have honestly, Brett, I can't remember because that was like 20 years ago. And the way that we broke up, I don't care if she likes it or not, to be honest with you. I just kind of forgot. I just remember her name, and that's about it. I purged everything else. Well, see, and the reason people do that, Mickey, is they don't want to be behind that truck. They they see big truck and the only thing they see is something slowing them down, so they do not want to be behind it. They want to be anywhere but behind that truck. Oh, it's like I bought, and the whole thing about it is if the truck driver doesn't have a dash cam, which I don't have one, they will not let me put one in my. They won't let us put one in our trucks. Yeah, Don, they start drafting. And see, the whole thing about it is if they whip in front of the truck and something happens and they stop real quick and that truck hits them, it's automatically in Pennsylvania. If you rear end somebody, it's automatically your fault until they can prove otherwise. And that is just nuts. Yeah, I never got people who drafted off a truck either. I actually had somebody hit my truck that was drafting me one time with this big. If you ever read the back of those like big semi trucks, and you'll see the thing says, "If you can't see my mirrors, I can't see you." That also works for a box truck too. I was being tailgated by a Jeep, and I was headed back to work. He was so close to me, I didn't even know he was back there. I mean, he was like tucked up in behind me, right in the blind spot, stayed there the whole time. Well, I had a guy pass me and swerve in front of me. I hit the brakes and I feel his bonk. Nothing hard, but I felt bonk. I'm like, what the hell was that? Then I see the Jeep come up from behind the truck and the front end's all smashed in on. He just kind of drove up past me, said, I'm sorry, and kept on going. I was like, okay. No damage to the truck, but still. Exactly, Grumpy. Exactly. Not only, and the truck that I drive, I'm not even required to have a CDL. I have a commercial endorsement because I'm under 23.9. Once you get above 23.9, you have to have a in Pennsylvania it'd be a Class B CDL. I got a commercial endorsement, which is between a regular driver's license and a Class B, so I can drive something that has more weight than just a car. Oh, you mean both, Mickey? No, and that drives people crazy. They'll tailgate me on my way home from work, and they'll like try to push me up to the car in front of me. I'm like, I don't need to be up there. We don't all have to be all packed in this little bunch. It's kind of like if any of you guys watch NASCAR, which is kind of hard for me to watch anymore. If you ever watch like Talladega or Daytona, they all run in this big pack. So when the person in the front loses it, it takes out damn near the whole pack with them. That's what people drive like around here. I'm like, are you crazy? I usually try to keep people away from me. Oh, people are nuts. Just absolutely nuts. I don't understand people sometimes. I just don't. Maybe I'm not supposed to. Of course, how can I understand somebody that has a hard enough time understanding themselves because they're so engrossed in their cell phone while driving their car down the road? Yeah, which is illegal in most states now, but they still do it. Oh, it sounds weird, but welcome to the world we live in now. They Most of the people I see doing this are businessmen. That the only thing that they focus on is either how to make a better deal or how to screw somebody out of the deal that they're in right now. And they're constantly on their phone yelling at you because you're going too slow with one hand on the wheel, cruise set at about 90 miles an hour, whipping in and out of traffic. Oh, exactly, Grumpy. Exactly. I'm in control of my vehicle. I'm just worried about the idiot next to me that's texting that's not in control of his. See, if you're talking on the phone or on the radio, that's a little talking on the phone or talking on the radio is a little bit different because that's part of their job. And I understand that. You have to make some exceptions in there, but there still has to be a line drawn somewhere. As I said, with these businessmen driving on the road, which is illegal, that line has been drawn, just nobody enforces it. I mean, the cop pulled him over. I actually seen one of these businessmen in a Mercedes Benz actually bully a cop off the side of the road. Not just like, oops, I almost hit you and come back over. He just kind of bullied him off the side of the road and kept on going. Took the cop about 10 miles to get him to pull over. See, I try, yeah, Grumpy, when I drive, I don't really have the luxury of looking about 2 miles out, but I'll look out to the next turn because like the highways I drive, you may get about a 3/4 mile stretch before you go to the next turn. So I am looking straight as far as I can around as far as I can down the road and around that turn as far as I can go. Actually, I'm right behind you, Brett, because I think I'm going to go ahead and shut her down here. We're in an hour, so I hope you guys enjoyed the chat. But I'm like Brett. I think I'm going to be heading to bed here myself here. So everybody have a good night. I love you all. Thank you for coming. Um, my normal time is 8 o'clock on Tuesday nights, but don't forget about Backwoods Law and 8 o'clock on Monday. Nina at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, and the Honey Badgers at 9:30 on Wednesday, and the Friday night chat. So y'all have a good night. I'll talk to y'all later.